should our position on Kyrie change, Stephen A?
It shouldn't. And if it should be worse than we originally thought. Because to not be anti-vaccine, then why are you taking this stance? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to you being vaccinated in order to be able to show up to work. Kyrie is a superstar. He is box office. I think pound for pound, he's one of the greatest talents the sport has ever seen. I do not think he is a bad person. I do not think he has evil or malice intent. I do believe his heart is in the right place and that he cares about people. But he's snobbish. He thinks he knows more than a lot of other people. He thinks that he's above the fray a lot of times. It comes across as snobbish and aloof and looking down on other people. He started off last year talking about how the media were peons. Really? That's the same person that's cared. So the media members ain't human beings now? That's what you're supposed to be caring about, right? So, I mean, listen, Jay Williams was just on at the first stop of the first segment. He said he had COVID not once but twice. Well, does he count? You understand? Because he's in the media. You know, it amazes me some of the things that come out of this man's mouth, whether it's direct or indirect through sources and all of this other stuff. But here's what it ultimately comes down to. Kyrie Irving has made over $200 million plus. You signed on to be a member of the Brooklyn Nets and got KD and James Harden to do it. The objective was to establish a legacy and a new era in New York City that didn't belong to the Knicks. Let's create our own legacy and our own brand because the New York Knicks already got their own. Let's do our own thing. They came to you and you ain't there. And you ain't there. And Marcus brought up a little while ago when he talked about, yeah, you do have a right not to take the vaccine. That's not what this discussion is about. We know everybody has the right to take it or not take it. What we're saying is we might think it's unwise considering the circumstances because, as you pointed out, Molly, lives have been lost, okay? Yeah. And we get that part. Obviously, that's the most important part. But my point is, even with all of that said, you still are now proclaiming, according to the reports, you're not anti-vaccine. So if you're not anti-vaccine, you know what this comes across as? You just looking for, this is just the latest excuse for you to get off of work until you're ready to come to work. This is the same Kyrie Irving. Listen, let me put it in perspective. We keep forgetting this is important. Before the bubble, he got hurt.
Yeah.
He was out. Didn't want the dudes to participate in the bubble as a vice president on the Players Association. They're not a part of it anyway. He's gone. So he was gone from playing from March until December, came back and disappeared for 2 weeks. He needed a break. Who does that? Kyrie does that. Because Kyrie tries to have rules apply to himself that don't apply to anybody else. And anytime you're about that, you don't need to be a part of a team. If he were a boxer, I wouldn't say a word because he's in the ring by himself in the end of the day. This is a basketball team. It's a basketball franchise that he signed up to play for. And to me, he's being selfish.
Marcus, before you jump in here, I just want to highlight what I said earlier, and that's the 2 points that I find hypocritical. One, and I do also think his heart is in the right place, Stephen A., but if you're going to be a voice for the voiceless, you need to speak out on your stance here. And then also, if you're upset about people losing their jobs for these vaccine mandates, are you upset about all the people that lost their lives? Are you upset about all the people that are in the hospital? So it's just a bit of a double standard for me that I have a hard time grasping.
And Molly, to that point, that's why I said, like, this is a very nuanced discussion. But when it comes to what Stephen A. is talking about with basketball, well, I thought it needed to be some clarity between him and Jay Will because it gets convoluted. And you start talking about the real life element of this, right? All three of us are sitting on here as vaccinated people that want people to get vaccinated and understands that you can still get COVID, but the chances of you living are marketably better if you're a vaccinated person. But beyond that, when I hear Kyrie, like this report, obviously hadn't heard from Kyrie to that point, but when I hear this report, it just, I think about like, if you're not anti-vax, but you want to be a voice for people that can't work because the companies that they work for have vaccine mandates, then where are you standing as an individual? Because you are stepping away from your job, I'm assuming, to help promote everybody else that left their job because their companies had vaccine mandates. I'm assuming that's what we mean by being a voice for the voiceless. But I'm gonna tell y'all a story, okay? I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I grew up with, not poor, but I didn't have much growing up. I wasn't afforded to go to the greatest schools or do the best things. My life dynamic was different. And now there's a vaccine out on the market, take it or don't take it, that allows us to try to get back, I'm not even gonna say normalcy, allows us to get to a point where we can start functioning without worrying about COVID ravaging these places or ravaging where you work. People are not afforded that. There are a lot of people that have taken this vaccine because they need to work, not because they were gung-ho about taking the vaccine. And this is where we have to be very careful when we get on television, because Stephen A., you've been in this business, people listen to you, they hate you, they love you, but they listen to you. And I think the most important point that you're making with Kyrie, which I agree with you 100%, bro, if you made a commitment and you're not anti-vax, why won't you get vaccinated and show up for your commitment? That's what you're saying. And when I think about it from that context, that is why I said I don't understand his stance on being a voice for the voiceless. And I'm gonna tell everybody that watch this show, be careful about who you're following, because everybody's situation and circumstance ain't the same as yours.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.